Today on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, guilty pleasures. You know, those songs that if your rock and roll friends caught you listening to them, you'd be like, busted. Songs and artists you hate to love. Coming up next. You're listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, changing rock history one podcast at a time. All right, everybody, welcome back. It is the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, and this is our weekly show. We do live on Rock Rage Radio Live on Facebook, so you can check us out on Rock Rage Radio as well as Classic 92.3. So I hope you guys are ready to rock with us. Keith the Hawk Hawkins is also in the house. I wasn't sure if we were going to have Keith tonight. So Keith is here. We've got Lily V6, Keith the Hawk Hawkins. LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com is our website. Please check back often. Tons of great podcasts. They show up about a week after we run everything out there on Rock Rage and all the places like that. So you can catch them in replay on LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. Lots of cool stuff afoot with that, as well as, hey, guys, if you like what we're doing, you're interested in great guitar-driven rock, you're interested in the bands, you want to know more, you want to keep it alive, we ask that you throw us a little bone over there on Patreon. Our Patreon is patreon.com/Lou Lombardi. So you guys can chime in there. And plus there's a lot of cool perks and a lot of fun stuff you can get, including we're going to give you your own 60 seconds on the show to rant if you'd like. So that's on there. You can find out more about that at patreon.com/Lou Lombardi. Okay, so we have Lily V6, the Sixer. Lily, what's going on with
What's
you?
up? What's going on with me?
Speak to me.
Probably Chevelle and Breaking Benjamin on Friday. That's all I got.
Chevelle.
Yeah,
Chevelle.
covering them. And as you know, where I was Thursday, that was a lot of fun.
We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Chevelle, not cheval.
Cheval.
Cheval is the dish that is made out of horse. So you're not going to see
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Dead horse meat on stage. You're going to see a band called Chevelle, like the car, Chevelle.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, so sure. And we got the Hawkmeister, Hockenheimer. What's going on, Hawkster?
You just made that up, didn't you?
Actually, no. It is actually a thing.
Who the hell eats horse?
What?
Who the hell eats horse?
So speak to me, Hawk. What's going on? Talk nice and loud so we can hear you tonight. Everybody wants to know what's up with the Hawkster.
Yeah, really nothing. Today has just been a rainy, shitty day here. I did get new brakes and rotors on my van. That's exciting.
Woo! Good stuff.
Other than that, it's been a slow week, man. This July has been a down time for me. Not real busy, which is which works out for me to podcast more, but at the same time, I'm just slow right now. Things are slow.
You're looking for gigs.
Well, in August it changes, but July, it's not too happening, man.
I got you.
Slow month.
Everybody too busy staying in and out of the heat, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we got a respite. I no longer have swamp ass. So I was actually somewhere today, and I was chilly, and I was like, yes.
It was so oppressive the last couple of days.
Oh, couple of weeks. It was just insane.
Well, Thursday through Saturday is what I remember the best about being
yeah,
sweaty.
Yeah. Well, we had a few like minor, things in between there, but for the most part, past couple of weeks, we've just been really getting a lot of hot, bright, sunshiny weather. Which, if you like that kind of thing,
That's great. I just don't want to die.
Yes, dying would not be something we want, right?
Right.
Try to avoid dying
I try.
if at all possible. We could try to avoid that whole dying thing because that's like not cool. Okay, so we are going to be talking about guilty pleasures, and before we're going to get into this in a second, we're going to play a song first. But listen, guys, Today, in this day and age, I don't know what's happening to our world, but you have to qualify everything because there's always one person who goes like, so somebody chimed in like, I don't know, I have to feel guilty just because I like a song, just like it. All that means is that I'll give you a metaphor.
Because some people might give you a guff for it.
All it means is this. Everybody who's into fitness will tell you they got something that's not good for them that they occasionally like to partake of. Maybe they like Snickers. Maybe they like chicken nuggets with special sauce. Maybe you understand what I'm saying? It's those little things. It's like this is the chicken nuggets of music. This is the nerds of music. This is the
everybody gets offended.
Hard candy of music. Okay, this is not. That's all we mean by that, okay? So we aren't like trying to put a guilt trip on anybody, all right? So I just so if you're feeling, that way, then maybe you need a little,
just
maybe see your psychiatrist and get on some meds. I don't know. Right, Hawk?
It takes me a lot of willpower not to fire at these people because I read the same thing, and I figured I don't want to reflect on all of us. I don't want you two to feel influenced by my bad behavior or anything like that, or feel like it's deflecting onto you since we're, a three-piece here. So anything that I do might reflect onto everybody else. So I remain silent at times. But all I wanted to say was whoever wrote that, if you're feeling guilty, then maybe get a trip to the head shrinker or, basically you can also just do some other things, be positive about things. Because if you look at everything that way, all I can say at the end of the day is that if we felt that way, it's going to be a really shitty, boring podcast. So we can't have a podcast without some guilt. Me, myself, I tonight don't have that many guilty pleasures because I like everything I listen to, but I figured I would just come on and make fun of what you guys are picking.
Oh, I have one on here. I have several I know you're going to laugh at. So anyways, we're going to come back with that. We're going to get the show started with a band called Dark Tranquility, Forward Momentum on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Okay, Lily and I were talking about movies and whatnot and lost track there. But that's a band. That is a band called Dark Tranquility. That's a cool name, isn't it? Dark Tranquility. They're not a new band. They've been around for a long time. That's a record that they put out a couple of years ago. You can go to darktranquility.com, and hopefully the boys will be putting out something new soon. You guys can check this out. Coming up soon, we have my single, but we've also got a band called Shotgun Rebellion. Very cool, like a southern heavy rock kind of band. Yeah, kind of like a
Southern
Texas coalition.
Oh, okay. Texas hippie coalition.
Yeah, kind of thing. And then we're also going to be playing the Borstal Boys.
Nice.
So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit later on. Lily and I went to a fun show on Thursday night. We'll talk about that later on. I'm trying to avoid dragging out getting into the topic because my podcast mentor has, one of the things we talk about in our group is like, if people tune in to hear a topic, get to the fucking topic. So
people tune in to hear us. They don't care.
They don't care what we say. We could just be talking about cotton candy or some horse shit. So, Lily, so how are we going to do this? So we're going to be talking about, how I wrote the notes, and you can kind of, it was like, I thought we would do like a kind of general guilty pleasures where we could talk about your personal, my personal, Keith's personal, and then maybe what the people who chimed in on Facebook, kind of what some of their thoughts were too.
Sure.
So what do you got for us? Lily is our sort of resident music historian and kind of knows all things and kind of keeps us on track here. So what do you got, Lily, to open the show with?
Well, first off, guilty pleasure is a piece of media that someone enjoys but would be embarrassed if other people found out about it. Usually viewed as shameful by some people, like trashy novels, music, blah blah blah. However, we don't nobody really cares what the hell you listen to as long as you're happy. So, right.
Unless it's Creed or Nickelback,
Dave
Matthews, or what's the other one that everybody hates? The
Clarks.
No, nobody knows the Clarks other than Pittsburgh people. But Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh,
yeah, those are
I know a lot of people
everybody
like
hates.
Goo Goo Dolls.
Everybody hates those bands. We can do a show on why those bands are hated. In fact, Keith and I have done that in the past. So
Do you want a personal one?
So what do you guys? So what do we want? Do we want to go around the room, say some of our personal stuff, or do we want to work off of a list, or how would
you have a list?
I thought you would have a list since I talked you up about how you do everything.
I have my own personal list. Yes, correct.
Wow. Okay, we will go around with our lists here, but there is we'll sort of compare it to this one that I found on complex.com. 50 awesome guilty pleasure songs we're ashamed to like, but not really.
Can you turn me up?
Okay, if I turn you up anymore, you're going to be distorting.
Okay.
If people aren't being able to hear you, they need to turn their sound systems up.
Yeah, turn your shit up.
Turn your shit up, okay? All right, so go ahead, Lil.
You want me to do my own?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I want to preface this by saying I was born in 81, so I grew up in a time where music was sort of kind of bad for metal people because we had the grungers coming out. We have 90s hip-hop coming out, boy bands, and girl trio bands. So I'm working off of that sort of thing for my guilty pleasures, mostly. There's some new stuff in there, too. But I'm actually going to start it off with nothing that was around when I was a kid, but I listened to this song all the time, and it's Fernando by ABBA. Oh. I really, really love that song. It's on my iPod. I will listen to it every time it comes on. ABBA is a Swedish pop band from the 70s.
Swedish.
But I love, like, performing in my part of that song. I don't know why.
You have
what do you mean?
Concert singing to the steering wheel kind of thing with that song?
Yeah, I do a whole thing.
Keith, you want to respond to that? Do you have any comments on that? Or
did you like do the old like strobe light thing with the dash light or the overhead light and just like kind of flick it on and off real fast?
Not when I'm driving, but yes, I've done that.
Probably drive. Well, I drive with one hand, so I mean.
Well, I'm a little afraid to do that.
I would leave the other hand reserved for the lighting.
Keith,
so
they just hand out licenses now. I'm afraid for the other people driving around me.
But shit, drive down here and see what's happening. But no one even uses a turn signal down here.
Oh, they don't do that here either.
They don't know what it is. All right, so
ABBA could easily be on my list. I would probably, instead of Fernando, I would probably have to go with "Take a Chance on Me."
Yeah, or Dancing Queen. Right?
I was a little, I was really little kid, and I think I had a cousin or something that had the "Take a Chance on," or is that what it's called?
I think that's the name of the song. Yeah.
On 45. Do you guys know? Does anybody out there remember what a 45 record was? It was a vinyl record that was.
I have them up at the house.
Had one song on each side.
Yeah.
It was called a 45. It spun around your record player at 45.
You have to get the little special thing.
Yeah, you had to have a special adapter to play them on most record players. So if I was going to say ABBA, I would probably lean more towards that song. That's definitely that's a great pick. I'm going to go ahead and say a band probably from a similar era, maybe a year or two later than ABBA. Maybe this is a band called Ambrosia, who I still absolutely love. Dave Pack is, I think, an amazing singer, and "You're the Biggest Part of Me" was one of their big hits. But they have 3 or 4 that if those come on the radio, man, yeah. And I've got them. I own them. I bought them on iTunes and listen to them all the time. They're on my Spotify playlist.
Great.
But this one of those bands, like, if you're like chilling with the woman and you want to put a little, music and you want to maybe do a little slow dancing or something like that, you want to get a little romantic.
Do you do that?
I can neither confirm nor deny. That, but they've got that kind of thing, and it's very soft. Interesting thing about Ambrosia, though, is a lot of people don't realize is they did several progressive records first, and they couldn't get anywhere. It's kind of like the early Journey.
Okay.
And then they changed up their sound to this more sort of like soft R&B, getting busy music. And they had a string of big hits in the late 70s and early 80s. So, okay, so that's Keith. You have anything to say about that? Do you want to talk a little bit, or what's on your mind?
Yeah, I think that instead of playing Ambrosia, you should just use a rag with chloroform on it. That shit works really
Wow.
I got
Why
my
don't we just
prom
get a
date-
baseball bat?
I got my prom date like that, yeah.
Chloroform.
Whatever.
No, I
Let me
think there's
talk.
a band name in there. Chloroform Prom Date.
At least a
Great.
song.
There's a song. Write that down. Chloroform Prom Date.
That's one of my side projects, my Amish reggae band. I'm sorry.
Hate you guys.
I'm literally writing Chloroform Prom Date down.
Because you're going to use that.
I'm gonna use that. So, okay. So what do you got, Lil? What do you got, girl?
What do I got? I got, since we did sort of mention it last week, Wilson Phillips on my list. And the song Hold On, because it's literally the only song by them that I know. It's probably the only song they really had that was popular. But I don't really care what you think. So bite me. You listen to Rush. But,
Rush is
I
fun.
mean, no. It's daughters of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys and John and Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. And I think they're awesome. I don't care. They have one song that I listen to when it comes on my iPod. I'm going to sing it every time it comes on. I'll play it at the jukebox when I'm drinking with my friends.
Did John bang those girls too? Because he banged Mackenzie.
Probably.
He banged his kids.
Gross.
Mackenzie Phillips said, "Well, that's just how it was in our family."
Oh God.
That's great. So you like
Hold on.
Hold on.
See Mackenzie Phillips?
Yeesh.
I haven't seen her since she was on TV. That's how old I am in this television show. One day at a time. That's and I've maybe caught her peripherally on Oprah or something, but I couldn't tell you what she looks. I have no idea.
Yep. You go back and look at those shows, and I'm sure they ain't got any better since then. So, would you bang that chick? My God. Anyway.
Some people aren't picky.
Yeah, some people aren't picky, especially when it comes to their children. If they're fucking their children, Keith, they probably don't really care.
I'd rather bang fucking Schneider.
Oh, everybody wanted
there's a
Schneider
There's a deep reference right there. Wow. Okay, so let's
with
not
his
turn
tool
this-
belt on or off.
We kind of digress. I want to get
I
off
know.
this like banging your children thing because this podcast is going downhill very quickly. So there's a funny story about about Wilson Phillips being on the Howard Stern show. Not a story, I actually heard it. And he was like, well, why are you guys here? What's going on? And they're like, and she was one of the
them
chicks says, well, we're releasing our greatest hits. And
I know. You told
Howard
me the
Stern
story.
says, so what? So there's like one song on it, right? And everybody laughed, including me, and I thought it was freaking hilarious.
Well, I only know the one song.
Because I really I just despise that like soft rock feminist bullshit kind of music. So you should feel guilty. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't.
I'm just teasing. So what do you want to chime in on any Wilson Phillips, or you got something you can beat with that, Keith?
I don't know too many. So how the hell they putting out a greatest hits package? I have no idea. So whatever way to milk another buck from somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody has a greatest hits package for Christ's sake. It's just one of them things. I can't name maybe 2 songs. Maybe.
You have any guilty pleasure songs, Keith? Come on, I know you do.
He's
I have
proud of
guilty
everything.
I have guilty pleasure artists.
Okay.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean,
I said
this guy got a lot of shit when he came out, and probably still gets a lot of shit from guitar players and just different musicians. I've heard people rag on him all the time, and sometimes that reflects, and you kind of go, well, if everybody's saying he sucks, he must suck. But when he came out, it was kind of pretty watered down. Then he started to evolve, and so I guess it's a sorry, not sorry for me, and just some of the John Mayer stuff I think is really good. I mean, I think he's a great guitar player. A lot of people got on his shit being he's a pretty boy, he's never going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter because the dude can play at the end of the day and put on that trio record and away they go.
I think some people are a little sour because he thinks he's better than people like Eric Clapton, and he said so before. I think that's where people get
that's
mad.
what has got him in trouble is his running his mouth about stuff like that.
Dude, I mean, I've heard, he's probably much, anything you hear about the guy is usually not positive. He's kind of a jackass, but I mean, he's still a really good guitar player. He plays with a lot of feel. His songs are,
I agree.
for the most part, are pretty good, and I can listen to a lot of stuff. The stuff is just this is a soft spot for me. He uses Steve Jordan on a lot of his stuff. Pino Palladino has played with him. Those guys aren't going to play with just anybody, so it's just one of them things where when he came out. I think Room for Squares was his first record,
Right.
and it wasn't my thing. And then I gave it a chance, and yeah, a lot of people gave me shit for it, but I mean, it's just one of them things where I kind of like it. This stuff is well produced. It sounds great. It's poppy as shit, but I mean, he still has some chops. And I don't like Eric Clapton, so for all I know, that he probably is better than Clapton.
I was just gonna say, like, he is better than Eric Clapton, in my opinion.
But you don't say that about a legend.
You don't say that about yourself. You might let the people in the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus say that about
different.
You. Oh, and by the way, I'm better than Clapton.
Just by the way.
But no, I don't. I have a hard time calling John Mayer a guilty pleasure because he is a great musician.
Sorry. I'm just,
he's a great musician. Like, I mean, if you know, I think if you're just looking at it on the surface, some people that don't know might be, but he's also responsible in a way for bringing a whole like younger generation, getting them interested in guitar playing too. There's a lot of like younger people who really cite John Mayer as a huge influence because that's what got them into guitar. So I see what you're saying, though. I can understand where you're coming from with that, for sure.
If you do any research, you ever see the long list of hot-ass chicks he's had in his life? My God. Goes a long way with me. That's pretty good, John. Way to go, buddy.
Well, I think that, again, guys our age are probably cool with that, but he's gotten, again, from the sort of, the politically correct crowd, some like, no, John, shame on you. For that, but whatever. A guilty pleasure for me, I'm going to talk about, because we're talking about groups and everything, is Captain and Tennille. Again, I would see them. I saw them on television in the 70s. Tony Tennille was always showing up on like The Love Boat and these TV shows that I watched as a little kid, and those songs just kind of, specifically the song "Love Will Keep Us Together." I don't know. You're right. I know it's a cheesy, dumb song, but there's something about
it's catchy.
Yeah, it's catchy. And I'll if that comes on, I'm singing to my steering wheel.
Yep.
For sure. Absolutely. So
I didn't think of them.
Are you familiar with them, Keith? You know who they are?
I think. I think he knows.
He's not even acknowledging that.
No, I don't have a problem. That song, it's got that keyboard line in that song pretty funky. So, I mean, it's one of them songs. There's certain, that could be a guilty pleasure I have going, if it's, going forward. Whereas parts of songs sometimes I think are really cool. The song itself might be gay as shit, but I mean, I like certain things about the song.
That's not politically correct. It's gay.
Get that out.
Edit that out.
Gay as in oh, no.
Too much.
I understand what you're saying, and I think too, as musicians, this is something that like somebody said in my group this week. They were like, I want to hear you talk about music because you're a musician, and I think that you're going to have like a different perspective on it. And I think as musicians, there's a lot of times where we will key into something on something that most people might think like, what the hell is that? But we're hearing some nuance, or we're hearing something like a cool keyboard line, or we like the way that melody comes in over those chords or whatever. And that's enough sometimes to kind of get us grooving on something. You know what I mean? A drum thing, something,
Oh, yeah, there's tons of stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you got, Lo?
My next one on my list is Richard Marx. And the reason he's on my list is because I don't really admit to liking ballads, which is a lie. I do. And I think he has some of the best ballads ever. What?
Right Here Waiting for You?
Yes. He has Should Have Known Better, Endless Summer Nights, Hold On to the Nights, Right Here Waiting, which I learned to play Right Here Waiting on the piano. And he's got 11 albums of sap, so I do enjoy it. And he was just at the Meadows Casino, and I totally missed it. I was so bummed about that. But
he was a pretty boy like John
Mayer.
John Mayer.
His credits go way further than that, though, too. He wrote a lot of stuff. I mean, the first two, probably 3 Keith Urban records are mostly written by Richard Marx, or at least co-written. He's all over.
And I believe that he's written songs for John Mayer as well.
That might be legit.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that I read an interview with John Mayer where he talked about how he writes. He's like, do you guys remember a guy named Richard Marx? He writes a lot of my songs. So yeah, It Don't Mean Nothing was the one that was kind of his first breakout song, which is a little bit more of a rock tune. He borrows that "Life's Been Good to Me" riff by Joe Walsh. He sort of borrows that on that song a little bit. But yeah, it's
I love me some Richard Marx.
Well, see, again, that's an era too with pop music. And I don't know, I'm going to sound like an old person.
That's
but
okay.
That's an era too, and maybe Keith, you could chime in on this, where
Like
that
I'm
that was 5, 6, 7 musicians in a room playing those songs. Those weren't, that wasn't somebody who sat down and programmed that. I mean, there was some Oberheim synthesizer programming and stuff that happened, but for the most part, that was a band, like a really probably studio aces, right, Keith? Like some of the hottest guys ever playing on those songs, and that's why I think a lot of guys like can key in on that and groove on that, right, Keith? Like, because a lot of this stuff has great musicians on it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get he's probably got the top guys on that. I mean, I'm not even exactly sure who the hell's on those tracks, but I'm sure if you researched it, it would be someone that can play their ass off. Because I mean, to be a studio cat, you got to have your shit together, obviously. So
yeah, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that 70s, 80s, early 90s era for pop music was some of the just like amazing. Just the most amazing musicians, guys. You know who's on a lot of songs that people don't realize? It's Steve Lukather. From Toto. He's on tons and tons and tons. He's on Physical by
really?
by,
Olivia Newton-John?
He plays the guitar solo on that.
That's
he
cool.
wrote the riff to Beat It for Michael Jackson. He wrote
Toto's basically all over. That's the backing band killer, man. That's them.
Yeah, so I mean, that's something that, like, so if you're a musician, it's tempting to poo-poo some of this stuff because it is cheesy and sappy in a lot of ways. But when you dig a little deeper and you realize the guys that are working, and sometimes too when you look at the sheet music to some of this stuff, like insane chord progressions and key changes and like, I saw Nile Rodgers talking about some of the stuff that he worked on and how he would sneak jazz into pop songs, and he was given a clinic on how if you do this kind of thing with the chords, like, he was showing all these pop songs that he worked on where you didn't realize it was like serious, like jazz shit going on, but if you just listen to the song on the radio without paying too much attention to it, just came across as a kind of disco-y sort of thing. So, but yeah. So we're talking about, we were talking about Richard Marx.
Yes.
You got something you want to chime in with, Keith, or?
Yeah, this one's Guilty Now, but when this album came out, I've had this before a lot of people that I was hanging out with, and I was like, this band's going to be huge. And they are huge, but they really shit the bed after that. So it's just for me, just that record, I can still listen to, but the band now, I'm kind of like, I shy away from a little bit, is Maroon 5's first record's really good. I don't care what you say.
I have it too. Same thing. I liked it.
It's different. It's a little bit more rocking, and it has some really soulful like tracks on it. I mean, they got lost in that whole record label do what we say kind of thing. But their first album song, I think it's Songs About Jane, is actually a really good record. And those guys can play. Adam Levine can sing. I don't care. Put your fucking shirt on. But I mean, it's just it's one of those things where they kind of got a little too poppy, but that first record is actually it's funky. It's it's kind of more raw, and it still stands up pretty good. And there's not really a lot of any real tracks on it that are lame. There's a lot of good songs on that record.
Yeah, Harder to Breathe was the song that turned me on to them. And that's that's got great guitar work on it. We got to play another song because we're jaw jacking here. This is Where Have All the Acid Queens Gone on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Question I have for you is, where have all the Acid Queens gone? That is, stop. That's my latest single. You can go to lulombardimusic.com and check more out about that. That's the famous Keith Hawkins, the Hawkster, on drums on that song. So
nice.
So anyways, guys, we are discussing The whole guilty pleasure situation, throwing some of our favorites around. We have some people watching. Let's throw some shout outs at folks.
We have Chris Thunderwolf Dotson, as usual. Jerry Colburn, Charlie Doyle. He said, "What's up?" Gary Seibel, Simon Split Emmett. Hello from the UK. Bridget Husted, who likes my shirt. James Gentry, he's one of our boys here at Rock Rage. Randy Hollenbeck, Tim Doverspike, Dino Giovannoni. I keep saying his name wrong. Mary Wall. Vicky Stevens says hello to everyone.
Hello, Vicky.
Charlie. Amy Pittsburgh, Tracy Sampson, Bob Ridgway, John Potochnik, Reggie Poissant. Love Song by The Cure is his contribution. And Rob Maroney are all watching.
Oh, hey, did you share it yet?
I did, yes.
Did you tag John Fox?
I can do it again. But I think I tagged it on one.
A shout out to Bill Wigan. It's his birthday today. Bill occasionally watches. He's a great musician from the Pittsburgh area. He's a bass player. Plays with 3 Car Garage. Good dude. A lot of fun to hang out
Oh,
with.
I like them. Yeah.
So his birthday popped up there on the old Facebook, so I wanted to give him a shout out. So while Lily is doing that, Keith, you got any you want to share?
Yeah, this one here I have gotten a lot of shit for I like the whole humor, and they actually are good musicians if you just give it a chance. I mean, the humor's not for everybody, but there's a little duo out of New Zealand called Flight of the Conchords, which I'm a big fan of.
Oh.
I think very funny. They actually can play. They sing really well. I can't watch it around certain people at the crib, but there's like it's talented. They're talented. Like I said, that kind of humor may not be for everybody, but I get it because I'm messed up like that. But it's funny, and it's just one of them things where I can watch it by myself or invite other Flight of the Conchords fans. I just don't know any.
I like it. So I will go with the humor thing, and I didn't actually write these guys down, but this is a band that's kind of in the same way. The Steven Seagulls. Have you heard them?
I don't know them.
They're like a bluegrass band. They are from one of the Scandinavian countries. But they're a bluegrass band that plays heavy metal songs.
That's kind of fun.
So they do Metallica and AC/DC.
You know what? Yes, I do know who you mean.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
But that would chime along with that. I throw that there. All right, Lo, what do you got?
My next one on my list is Whitney Houston, but specifically the song "I Want to Dance with Somebody." Of course, it's probably like the worst one she has. I don't care. She's super talented. And this one was always on the radio when I was younger, and one of those things that I could dance to, obviously. And it's on my phone as a travel song again. So that's Whitney.
Well, you know what maybe a good podcast to do, kind of the opposite of this, would be like the 10 songs that make you want to just turn the radio off immediately.
Oh, I got a lot of those.
Right. Yeah. And yes, so do I. But I heard one today, and I think Nightwish is a great band, and their singer, and I apologize, I don't know the young lady's name, has an amazing voice. But that they were covering "Alone" by Heart, and I think that is one of the absolute most stupid fucking songs ever. Everything about it is dumb. It's just stupid. How do I get you alone? Like, what the? And a girl is singing it like, really, you're a chick, and you having a hard time getting a guy alone to bang you. Like
That's like the easiest thing to do ever.
That's the easiest thing ever. That's like, come on. You know, like this is the it was do and it's okay. Maybe now, okay, this is the 2019s, all right, and everybody's politically correct. We have social justice and blah blah blah. But in the 80s, everybody was banging. That's what you did. You banged. Everybody was banging, despite AIDS. Everybody was freaking banging. Wow. How do I get you? What? It just all you got to do is like show up. And the guy's like,
yeah,
sure, no
you don't
problem.
have to do much.
I mean, like, in the dirt, didn't he bang some chick in a dumpster or something like that?
Well, in the bathroom all the time. Yeah,
No, they did
behind
it in a dumpster.
Yeah.
No, there's an actual scene of them in a dumpster.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, and they actually did it in a dumpster. So come on.
I mean, you do it everywhere.
It's chilly. But anyway, so
I've done it at the altar bar. Not in a dumpster.
not at the altar.
Not at the altar. That would have been cool, though.
like in a church.
It is a church.
That's right. That's right. That is a church. That was a church, and it is a church again.
Yes,
from what
I
understand.
know.
I know. What a waste. So, anyways, guilty pleasures. I'm sorry. It is. I digressed. I'm going to give a triumvirate here.
Go on.
Madonna, Culture Club, and George Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for that, especially with Culture Club, and then
Older Madonna for sure.
and George Michael. That sort of blue-eyed soul kind of vibe that they had, and I just and I think both Boy George and George Michael had amazing voices. Madonna had nothing to do with her voice, but it was one of those things like all my friends, I mean, would come in and talk about hearing Van Halen and Def Leppard and AC/DC, and how much we loved them. We would like all laugh about how terrible Madonna was, but if it came on MTV or whatever, I would crank it up and listen to it. So, there we are, guilty as charged.
It's okay.
Madonna,
and it happens.
Madonna wannabe. No, I wasn't. I didn't want to be Madonna. My sister did. You remember when you're too young? You remember, Keith, when all the girls wanted to look like Madonna? They would wear all the stuff around their arms and.
Yeah, that was
one of my aunts did that.
There was a girl in my school. Her name was Dee Dee White. I can't remember. I can't believe her name just came to me. I can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago, but this chick, Dee Dee White, and she was Madonna. She totally copped that shit. That Madonna wasn't out for 6 months, and Dee Dee came to school, and she had the whole
shebang.
thing. The wearing 6 belts and the the
that was a good look,
and that was the whole thing with the mall hair, just crazy. But that was I never thought Madonna was hot, but I thought.
She's talented.
I thought Like a Virgin and all those songs were I thought they were really infectious. They were you could we were. I remember having conversations with people saying, "Do you ever notice all the songs you hate get stuck in your head?"
Yes.
And her songs would get stuck in my head, and I had to kind of just surrender and say, "Well, I guess I kind of like them."
I just bought
find
True Blue,
myself
so
singing.
it's okay.
True Blue.
Yes, I just bought it a couple weekends
So,
ago.
what do you think about Madonna, Keith? No,
I don't. I'm not a fan. No. You like what you like, though. I mean, there's some great musicians are on that track. Even on Like a Virgin, the song, Omar Hakim plays drums on that song.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just so was there anybody from that era that you kind of kind of dug, but you never wanted to really admit?
Oh yeah, because everybody I hung out was total metalhead. So if it wasn't Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, or Anthrax, you were gonna get beat up. Next week. Iron Maiden. If you didn't have that fucking jean jacket and the patches and buttons out the ass, then you were gonna get beat. So I can't go home and listen to. I do have to go home and listen to, my pop records or listen to Tears for Fears or something like that, which I still say to this day, Everybody Wants to Rule the World is one of the best pop songs ever written.
Great song. I told you will not get an argument from me.
But I can't go in my then inner circle and listen to Everybody Wants to Rule the World or any of the more Duran Duran type stuff who, has a great bass lines in Duran Duran songs, or listen to Daryl Hall and John Oates, which I liked as a kid, a young kid, and still I had to almost forget about him because I was so brainwashed with metal that I had to live that kind of vibe. Which I still love metal and I listen to it a lot, but it's I always had that more eclectic taste than my friends who were just one dimensional with their metal.
Right.
And it wasn't metal, you were getting the beat down.
I want to go ahead and give some shout outs. We ran a post and a bunch of people chimed in, including Keith the Hawk Hawkins. Bill Damiano, my friend who's also has a podcast. He says, as much as he hates to admit it, he says he listed Nickelback, Creed, Poison,
Def Leppard.
Kate Alderman says older UK folk music and sea shanties.
That's interesting.
Pentangle by Steely Dan, Richard Smith. Chad Goldbatch says Spandau Ballet. True. That would definitely be on my list. That's one of those songs I think just. I'll take when we do the after show. I'll tell you why I like this song. I don't want to talk
Somebody
about it here.
like a Steely Dan.
Yeah, some people feel like a lot of people who are not in the know kind of feel could put Steely Dan in that yacht rock like category with like Captain and Tennille and Barry Manilow and stuff like that. Only because if it's kind of mellow and it's from that era. But those of us that are musicians know Steely Dan is like one of the greatest things that ever happened to music. Period.
They truly are.
Kevin Willicke says Steel Panther. Die Antwood. I don't know what that is. Michael Gold says, see, this is another one for me, for sure. Rock Me Amadeus, the German version.
It's all getting shut off if I hear it.
Yeah,
I can't stand that song.
Sean Stringer says Backstreet Boys and Hanson. I like Hanson. Bop. Mark Edwin Cole, Neil Diamond, September Morning. I like Neil Diamond too. I will crank up a little. Coming to America.
I didn't feel like people would think he's a guilty pleasure though. I don't know.
I chimed in on that one. I had to try to correct him because don't be guilty about the Neil, man. The diamond shines bright. Great song.
The diamond shines bright. Barb Hilajewski says Foreigner and Journey. Jared Grease says Natalie Imbruglia, Savage Garden. Not embarrassed. BC Claver says Lorena McKennitt. Carlos Castillo says eye rolling doesn't make me guilty. It makes them closed-minded.
Oh my goodness. Calm down.
Carlos, calm down. Can't we just have a little fucking fun? This is
calm down.
Carlos, you're a good dude, but come on, lighten the fuck up. Bruce Grubb says The Temptations. Again, I don't find them guilty because I think they're again total badasses. Earl the Pearl says Kesha.
Oh, Earl.
David Crow says Pet Shop Boys. I'll groove on a little East End Boys, West End Girls once in a while. I mean, I won't say.
I'm taking your fucking rock card away now.
Vinny Lamont says that he also likes Al Stewart as well as Dave Bizard says he likes Al Stewart. Joe Marini says what's ONJ? Oh, Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, yeah.
You know what song I like? There's a song with a band. They've got initials. We should do bands with initials for names.
Oh, yeah,
but that song by they were OMC. How Bizarre.
How Bizarre. I have that.
That's
CD.
That was this one sounds like infectious. Like Lawrence Donovan says B-52's Quirk Me Out. I love it. What did you say there?
My list is longer than I expected.
Okay, all right. Amelia Horoski says Madonna, but everyone knows that about me. Dave Klimo says 60s music. Jimmy Wysock says 90s rap. Sean Donahue, list far too long but notable. Michelle Branch.
I'm surprised he said that, actually.
Keith, wow, you got into a whole thing.
Him and Jimmy.
I don't even know the dude.
I know, I'm a super nice guy.
That's all right. That's cool. That's what that's what social media is supposed to be for, is to chat up people that maybe get to know
I
them a
tried
little
to
bit.
just see what kind of 90s rap he was into. He said all of it. I said I spent a year of my life playing to nothing but the first two Tribe Called Quest albums. Like every day I would just put them in and just play to him. And it's just, well, even though they're programmed drums, they're programmed really freaking well. And they sound organic. They're fun to play to, and that shit you can practice over it. It's like playing to a glorified metronome. It's just kind of just a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I've heard that about that band. Yeah, the grooves are cool.
Well, that's all that. What's that dude's name, man? Oh shit, the guy that passed away. The producer in that band. I should be slapped for not knowing his name.
Well, I'll let you figure it out. Do we want to hit a couple more before we? Because we're running late. We're running low on time. What do you got?
Jay Dilla. That's it.
Who?
Jay Dilla.
Jay Dilla. Okay. What do you got, Lil?
Well, like Keith getting beat up for not listening to metal. Little girls in 1989 would get made fun of for not listening to New Kids on the Block, even though I was listening to Aerosmith and AC/DC at the time. All the little girls were listening to this, and then of course I got obsessed with the cute boys and singing and dancing on stage. So also my very first concert in 1990 out at Star Lake, the first year they were out, and I was 9 years old. So, yay, love them. Still would listen to them today.
I was
know every word.
I wouldn't list them, but I know who they are. I mean, like, I don't know, like it isn't like
you weren't a 9-year-old girl in 1989.
People that like if it's on, I don't need to run over and turn the radio. They wouldn't make me turn the radio off, but I didn't really have a feeling for them one way or another. How do you guys feel about "Wannabe" by this? This is a list from Complex.com. How do you feel about "Wannabe" by the Spice Girls?
It's super catchy. I get it.
Nah,
No.
You're
gonna pass. What about "Don't Stop Believing" by Joyny?
I didn't think that was a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that's the most downloaded song of all time.
But it's not guilty. Everybody listens and likes it.
Yeah, like, well, is this a guilty pleasure list?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're reading off? Yeah, I don't see that being guilty pleasure. I don't know.
What about "Baby Baby" by Amy Grant? Remember that song?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know? Okay, well, we'll just
That's a
move
good
on.
one.
What about "What Is Love" by Hathaway?
What is love?
Don't hurt
Yeah.
me, don't hurt me no more. That song? What is love? It's in a lot of movies. It's in Night at the Roxbury.
Yes, it is.
Which I just saw for the first time
Oh
about
my
a
God,
month ago.
are you serious?
That's a funny movie. I just watched a Will Ferrell. Oh, I just rewatched Talladega Nights the other
Ugh.
day. You don't
Song like
I don't like Talladega Nights specifically.
Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles.
That's a great song.
What about
I love
"Heaven
her.
Is a Place on Earth" by Belinda Carlisle?
I love her.
No.
What is it? You don't dig it?
That fucking song sucks.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna go through this whole list because there's 50 of them. What about "One Week" by Bare? Were you a Bare Naked Ladies fan? They were a big sensation for a while.
Band?
Yeah.
What are you talking?
Bare Naked
Not
Ladies.
Yeah, they're just that's kind of one of them bands that they're around a lot longer than people think. I mean, they had a lot of. I think they weren't really like what you would think this overnight sensation. They had that's a catchy tune. It's got kind of like the white boy rap thing in the middle, and it's got a simple chord structure, and it's a nice pop song. It's different, at the time. I could see why it was a big hit. I mean, they've had a long career, but I don't know. It's a good song. I guess.
Lily's "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips is on the list.
I was 9.
There you go.
I don't know that
I don't
song.
know that. Yellow Guard, Ocean Avenue. "More Than a Feeling."
By Boston?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't be guilty of listening to Boston. They're great.
Same.
Well, it is. It's been voted on different lists as the most overplayed song of all time.
Probably
Yeah,
it really is.
Songs. If you listen to it, most of these radio stations only play one or two songs by huge artists. It's like, yeah, they wrote other songs, man.
How about I Melt with You" by Modern English?
It's got that 80s. That's that 80s vibe to it. I mean, a lot of times you pair it with movies, and you remember the movie because of the tune.
Well, that's one of those songs that I'm probably pretty close to turning the radio off now because it's just so overplayed. I'm just like so over it, "All Star" by Smash Mouth.
That's a turn-off song.
Nah, that band I just can't take, man. I'm just not going to do it with that.
"Pardon Me" by Incubus. I don't think that's a guilty pleasure. I think it's an amazing song. I think Incubus is a killer band.
Yeah, they're great.
Like I don't.
Really, ever see them live? They're killing, man. That's
That's a
Oh, I know that song. It's an awful song.
Hot Chili Ray, "Tonight Tonight." Those guys look like they're about 14.
That's legit. It didn't come out that long ago.
Kesha.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to say her. She's actually last on my list. I like everything by Kesha that she's ever done. She started when she was at age 18 on the song Right Round by Flo Rida. But also she's worked with Alice Cooper and Iggy Pop, and she does write her own stuff, so I have mad respect for her, especially after she got totally shafted by her manager and lost all this money and everything. And now she's making a little bit of a comeback, but I literally like everything that she does. She's a total badass.
I'm going to throw one more at you. I know Keith is going to probably lose his mind. "Nookie" by Limp Bizkit.
I'm speechless, man.
I'll crank that song up any day of the week. I
like
did it all for the Nookie.
Break stuff's better. I could take break stuff because it's got at least
Both.
that cool riff in it, and it's just simple. And his singing is just awful. I mean, even he can't even be saved by a studio, man.
I just think I like the idea of the song, Nookie Cookie. I just think I thought yeah. But we're gonna wrap it up because it's we're running low on time. So let's play one last song and then come back and kind of say our goodbyes. Okay. Sound like a plan? This is a band I just discovered called Shotgun Rebellion. Not quite gone on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Shotgun Rebellion, everybody. And I believe, let me go ahead and throw the web address at y'all so you can check them out. By the way, all these bands are on Spotify. That's what I do. We're just streaming from Spotify. So, like, just, if you just want to listen, you go to Spotify and check them out. But that is, they have a strange website, artistcard.com/Shotgun Rebellion. That's ARTISTE. I'm not sure. Must be their record label or something. But artistcard.com/Shotgun Rebellion. We had Dark Tranquility. That's easy. DarkTranquility.com. I played my new song, Lombardi, LouLombardimusic.com. And when we boogie on out here, we're going to do the Borstal boys for you. Fun show tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Having a good time with our things. We saw a great show Thursday, didn't we?
We did see a great show Thursday. Glenn Sobel and his Goon Squad, which is essentially just Alice Cooper's backup band. Sans Alice and Nita.
Yeah.
But, yeah, good show. And the Borstal Boys actually opened for them. And I got to speak too. God only knows why. But it was fun. They did a lot of covers. And Calico Cooper, Alice Cooper's daughter, actually came and sang too. So it was a nice little surprise.
That's who the dark-haired bitch you were singing. Okay.
Yeah.
You should have. She sang "Lick It Up" and a couple things like that. It was really fun, man. It was just I enjoyed it the last time. The only thing that's a cool location and there's parking and everything, but they needed a raised stage because you couldn't see.
Yeah, you couldn't
anything.
see. It's basically on the floor.
Yeah. So it's like kind of getting like playing a fire hall.
It is a fire hall, basically.
Where was it?
It was, what's the name of the place?
The Subalpine in Turtle Creek.
Shit, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, even the nice buildings in Turtle Creek look run down. Like, it's like a very kind of like...
Yeah.
That's the only hopping place in Turtle Creek.
Yeah, there was nothing, man. Nothing. We had to drive. We were hungry afterwards. We had to drive all the way to Monroeville to find, like, a place that was open where you could grab a snack. But no, that was cool.
It was a great show.
And I wanted to throw a movie recommendation to everybody. If you haven't seen Crawl, you should see Crawl. It's 90 minutes of like edge of your seat, nail biting. It's kind of a small movie. There's not like a lot of actors in it. But it's really, really, really good. You should definitely.
That's the other.
Yeah. That's pretty good, dude. It's very tense. Yeah. So, I saw that on Saturday, but, all right. Would you say?
I'm not going to see it because there's a lot of alligators around here. I don't want to be tormented.
That's the movie you were talking about. Okay, yeah. I want to see that. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
I heard it got really great reviews, actually.
I don't know what's not to like about it because, I don't know, like I thought the CG and everything looked really good, but they used a lot of practical stuff as well. And what's really cool too, the depiction of the hurricane I thought was really, you really felt like you were in a hurricane. And it kind of gave you that. We started going to the theaters with the extra large screens.
Yeah.
And sitting close. And I think I'd recommend that to anybody because I think that makes like any movie like 20% better at least.
Are you getting old? You need the bigger screen.
Well, no, it's not that I can't see. You could see,
kidding.
but I know. But I'm saying is like just to clarify, it's just like you feel more immersed in what's happening.
That's what we did when we went to see the Elton John movie. Mom and
I haven't seen Yesterday yet either. I want to see.
It's so good.
Yesterday, definitely want to see it. So, what about you, Keith? Anything you want to talk about before we boogie on out? Anything you want to say?
Not really, man. It's just typical week, gig Friday, and trying to get Black Laurel to finish up the record. They're supposed to be in the studio tonight, finishing up some stuff. Hopefully that'll be out before now, and collect Social Security. And basically, I'm just doing my thing, man. That's all. Obviously, there's a lot of movies I have to go see because there's like, at this point, 4 or 5 now that I haven't even got to see, and now you're packing on that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's there's a whole gaggle at the moment.
A gaggle.
Yeah, go gaggle to check out. Lily, why don't you go ahead and plug your show?
Thursday nights, Hot Licks with Lily 6 p.m. Eastern Time on rockrageradio.com or just get the free app, Rock Rage Radio. And I don't think I have anything too special going on.
A couple of things I want to announce before we go. I want to give a shout out to Wolf's Customs, and can you hand me that? Yes. Chris is a great fan, and he does custom guitar painting. And you can find them, I believe it's wolfscustoms.com. You can email wolf at wolfscustoms.com. Yeah, does custom guitar refinishing, does all kind of crazy painting and stuff. It's really neat looking. So you guys can check those out. Chris is been a longtime supporter of the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. So, brother, thank you so much. Cool with that. LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com is our website. Shout outs to our affiliates, Rock Rage Radio and Classic 92.3. Thank you guys for recognizing what we do. It feels really good to have people who are behind this and recognize the value of it. Speaking of recognizing the value, if you haven't already, go to Patreon and patreon.com/Lombardi. And there's all kind of cool stuff there. I'm not going to drag that out, guys. We're going to get the hell out of here. We're going to jump over to the our group for a little bit, and where we're going to tell the real dirty jokes, number one, but we're going to sort of give a little history and a little bit of shout out to Slash. It's Slash's birthday today, so I bet he show up on your friends list? Did you wish him a happy birthday?
I did not wish him a happy birthday. I'm gonna go jump out of a cake at his house later.
Nice. Keith, are you going to jump out of a cake for Slash later?
Nah.
Come on.
Okay, guys. This is the Borstal Boys. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you next time on Rock and